Hello, good evening. It's kind of late in Portugal, I know. So good evening.
Good evening, Hong. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. You're hearing me well?
Yeah, good.
Okay. Let me know if my voice is broken. My connection may have some issues, and I tell you the same if your connection is not good.
I'm good by now.
Okay, let me just increase the sound. We already have more than 40 people for this conversation.
Wow.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, me too.
I'm just repeat the introduction. This is part of the Porto Academy Talk Club that began in June 2nd, and it's happening until July 19. We're having a lot of guests in the next weeks. I'm going to talk a bit about them at the end of this conversation. My name is Romullo Baratto, for those who are coming now. I'm the managing editor of Art Daily Brazil. I'm also a PhD candidate at Faculty of Architecture at São Paulo, and also an architecture and photographer and videographer. I'm here for these talks together with Pauline Personeni, in charge of the editorial development of Aguiar Publishers and its digital platform Urban Next. So we are interviewing some of the guests, 5 each, in the upcoming weeks. Porto Academy, just like a brief introduction here for those who are coming now, is a platform for lectures, visits to important architectural sites, classes, exhibitions, and also publications. Since the first edition years ago, more than 2,000 participants has taken place in the course from almost 90 different nationalities. In terms of the guests, just like you, Jose, more than 150 has participated from 30 different nationalities. Besides that, the proposal of Porto Academy is to foster cultural and educational experience with globally relevant architects and practitioners. From the statement of the platform in their website, I will read this very interesting quote. We admire the figures that dream about architecture. And that's why we have you today here, Joseph, from Portugal. Welcome. I'm gonna introduce you, but you have the chance to do it way better later. But just for our audience to have an overview of your practice and career. José Martins is graduated in the Faculty of Architecture at the University of Porto and has a master's degree in Architecture and Urban Culture at the Universitat Politécnica de Catalunya. In 2012, he won the EU Japan Fest Japan Committee Scholarship for a research project about emergence offices in Tokyo. Correct me if
yeah, correct.
He has also been an assistant tutor at this very Porto Academy in 2013. Also, José was president at the Portuguese Architectural Association in Braga, in North Portugal. Regularly publishes his works and writings in Portugal and abroad. Besides that, years ago, between 2016 and 2018, he was the art director at the Brazilian product design company called Alma. He worked also with Frits van Dongen in Amsterdam before establishing his own office in 2013, Martins Architecture Office in the Portuguese city of Guimarães. I still didn't have the chance to meet the city, but it's in my list. From your website, I took this quote that I think it's very interesting to start the conversation. Our work essentially tries to build fractions of unexpected moments to whom inhabits our physical or intellectual spaces. Very interesting phrase. We will surely talk about it in a few. But before that, I just want to highlight some recent projects from José. You are currently working in rehabilitation of a school in São Tomé e Príncipe, one of the 6 Portuguese-speaking countries in Africa. You were awarded at the 19th Minsk International Biennale of Young Architects with the project Zebros, Quinta de Zebros, actually. And this project has also been nominated at the Architecture Brazil Building of the Year 2022, this very edition we finished in March. So that's my brief introduction to our guest. Welcome again.
Thank you.
It's an enormous pleasure to talk to you this night. Actually, here in Brazil is still the afternoon. Yeah, the introduction I made is quite briefly, so maybe we can start with you talking about yourself and your practice in Guimarães. It's already 9 years of practice, so I'm sure you had a lot to share with the audience.
Wow. First of all, thank you for this chance, and really glad to meet you. It's a virtual conversation, but yeah, hopefully in the near future you can meet somewhere. Are you coming to Porto next month?
Unfortunately, no. I was there like 4 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a pity, but yeah, in the near future probably we can meet to talk a little bit.
Hopefully.
Thanks for this introduction. I don't know. It's very hard to be self-critic about my work, but in the last years we are dealing with different projects, typologies, scales, whatever. But mainly and essentially, we are working on housing typology, and we are very focused on some building construction that are rolling nowadays, building construction from older projects, because in fact we want to track some details, how they are executed, kind of internal research. And besides that, we are integrated in other teams, in other office, big teams, for major projects, international projects, which is a great opportunity to test other scales, typology, other markets. Since we are young architects, we are not able to reach a kind of specific projects. But inside of the office, it still mainly is housing. And yeah, that project in São Tomé was a chance to rehabilitate a school. And we are making a big effort to manage the project in the long distance, since there are no budget. São Tomé and Príncipe is a very is an island, very poor, very poor, and the child need the school, and we are inside of a bigger team trying to give something. In that case, rebuild the school. So that's one particular project, and yeah, the other works is mainly housing.
You've been, of course, you're Portuguese. There's this very important, but also necessary way of dealing with the heritage and rehabilitations are very common in Portugal. So I know you have experience working in rehabilitations in Portugal. And can you talk to me, but also to the audience, about this, details of the daily work with, bringing new ideas upon something that is already established and has an architectural historical value. I think this is this may be really usual for European practitioners, but for architects from around the globe, other places, it's not that usual. So I think it's a good thing to talk.
Yeah, in fact, we have a lot of history in Portugal, and up to north, probably deepest and long history. My based city, Guimarães, is historically where Portugal born. Our very first king was born there. So it's natural to have rehabilitation to do, because our urban fabric mainly is historic. And yes, it's a common chance that we have is to work in an historic fabric. And it's particular, in fact, because we have to deal with a lot of regulation of the municipalities. Also, we need to preserve the historic details, the wood, the stone, whatever, which makes the exercise complex, but besides very exciting, I guess. So we need to understand and to learn the erudite part of architecture, the historical part of the details, and try to bring it to the project, and in the end propose something that belongs to our time, to our contemporary time, but respecting the historic value. So yes, it's normal to have a lot of rehabilitation here. And in fact, I did already one rehabilitation in the historic center of Braga, city nearby. And that one that you talked with before, the Zebros farm, which is a farm that was in 19th century, belongs to, or should I say, to the, in English, to the priests, the religious subjects. And somehow the house changes the owners and the families, and they reach us with the house in a very poor condition. And again, we try to preserve as much as we can. The very new parts of the house, we try to reinterpret the details, stone details, wood details, and in the very end, trying to give a kind of contemporary touch. And yeah, just to finish, it's very common to work with historical fabric. It's not easy. The regulation is very hard to deal. And each municipality, it's a problem that we have in Portugal and I believe in other countries, but the municipalities, each one has a different codes, different kind of codes. And we need to learn them and to deal in each project and each city, which is hard, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's very specific.
I find it really interesting because it's never a tabula rasa, it's never like ground zero. There's always something from the past, and you bring something from the present and the future as well. So it's like a continuous exercise of revamping old past architectures into objects of the future. I found it really, really interesting in European and especially in Portuguese architecture. But this exercise is being put in movement again in São Tomé and Príncipe, because it's also a rehabilitation, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a rehabilitation. As I said, we did just the previous concept, previous approach, and afterwards we are waiting for the local council that approves the project. But yeah, it's a rehabilitation. As I said before, it's a part of the island very, very poor. They haven't infrastructures at all. They have a lot of family problems, social problems, and it's a beautiful and a magic place. And school is for very young child. So we accept that challenge with it's an association that manage all the process, and we accept to be inside of that project, which the school is just an arm of the biggest idea. And yeah, it's a rehabilitation. It's kind of making as much as we can without resources. So it's a rehabilitation, and we are researching, learning local way to deal with wood, local way to deal with the local stone, which is very beautiful.
That's
the volcanic
super
stone.
nice.
Yeah, and we are trying to use as much as you can the coconut trees, the volcanic stone, and also using the manpower, the local manpower. So it's kind of participating project, and we are just in the beginning of the process. I know already the local government are accepting our project, and they validate the continuous of the project. So we are in the moment we are waiting for the association to give us a kind of a briefing for the next step. But yeah, we are working in a long distance. But in the end, it's a rehabilitation, trying to use and interpret a local materials, a local manpower. Just in the very end, we are trying to make a better place for those people.
Yeah.
For me and for my team, architecture is the last important thing on that project. Architecture in terms of stylish or something.
Yes, I understand. You know, this social empowering thinking, it's becoming more and more unavoidable and necessary in every possible way of doing architecture. You know, besides sustainability questions, besides energetic questions, you know, social empowering is probably one of the most effective ways of building to become a rooted part of a community, of a society. So I think it's really nice of you in your office of having establishing this contact with the people from there. My question is, are you working with local firms also in São Tomé?
As I said, we are a part of a bigger team, and in fact, the association that manage the entire process, we are a part of a piece of that puzzle. So we are waiting for the association that give us the details to continue and which way. In fact, there are no firms there. That's the thing. We need to do something with local people. It's a very south part of the island. As I know, it's very hard to reach the particular place. It's far away from the city center of the island. and it's for a particular village. So our project tried in the very beginning to rebuild the shell of the building, trying to project the infrastructure since they don't have electricity at all. So we made a contract in our city, in our based city, with a firm trying to sponsor a system that collects solar energetics solar system to give energy in the school during the day, and also another firm to give us a plumbed system to make it possible just to have as the minimum to that village and to that school. So they are in fact they aren't a construction firm. It's managed by locals, and at some point myself, I'm trying to make bridges with some local from Portugal companies that enter in that big project just to give something to that child and to that village. It's a very beautiful idea managed by that association. It's a very beautiful idea, and we are excited to be part of this.
Super good. Changing a bit the path of the conversation, I mentioned at the beginning, I read this quote from your website. So I wanted you to talk about what do you mean with fractions of unexpected moments? It really caught my attention.
I guess it's a simple thought, which is we daily try to solve problems, clients' problems. They pay for us to make architecture. So I'm trying to share with my team, making it clear we are paying to solve that problems. But besides, it's very important to have the notion that we are architects, we are not builders. So as an architect, we need to add something. So if in the very end of our projects, if we can have an unexpected moment, a very short unexpected moment for the people who live our spaces, it's a win challenge. So I guess we are very subtle. So we are very low profile people that just really want to fix our client problems. But besides that, inside of our office, it's important to defend our discipline, to talk about pure architecture. And in each project, trying to understand the scale of that unexpected moment. If it is a museum, we need to have more kind of unexpected moments. But if it is a house or shelter, depending on the scale, we need to understand the scale of that particular moment. And it's kind of a pure, small and pure architectural joy.
You know, this quote made me remember of Paulo Mendes da Rocha. I'm sure most of the audience knows him, but he has a very famous quote in that feature, the documentary film, Everything is Project, made by his daughter. He repeats this sometimes. The role of architecture is to shelter the unpredictability of life, and these fractions of unexpected moments kind of recall me this quote. It's not simple about a shelter, but it's to provide places where life can unfold in the most unpredictable ways. And this is, in my opinion, this is one of the joys of architecture. Otherwise, it's mostly a technical discipline. And I'm sure neither you or I we prefer the joy, the joyness instead
of course, and the poetry.
Exactly.
And an fraction of unexpected moments is an humble way to say just a small part of the architecture. Because if we are extravagant and saying entire building is unexpected, no, it's not. It's not true. And the unexpected moment becomes a routine. So we are way good to deal with just a fraction of that moment.
Yeah. Scrolling down your social media, your Instagram account, the Instagram account of your office, actually, we see a lot of unbuilt projects published. It's known that most of the work done by architects is never going to be built. It remains on paper, on digital nowadays. So, but it's still architecture. It's still part of the job. It's still practice. It's an exercise. So I wanted wanted you to talk a bit about the importance of these unbuilt projects, since you've been publishing quite a lot about them.
Yeah, well, it is a fact. We have an unbuilt list of projects, but the projects that mainly are in our Instagram accounts, it's projects that we are working on, and we have a few that are already and now they're starting the construction. So the last, I don't know, but the last rows of Instagram pictures, they are in fact projects that are going on. We are starting the construction of projects from 2016. Imagine 4 or 5 years kind of waiting. And yeah, of course, some of those projects are in the drawer, but fortunately, some of those are starting the construction. And of course, as everyone knows, the COVID stopped the world kind of year and a half. So the project is kind of blocked. And we have this particular year, this particular half of the year, fortunately, we have kind of 5-6 projects going on the construction. So that project that we have in the Instagram mainly is process, is something that I have in front of my desk or the collaborator desks, and I publish kind of our daily routine. Nice. But the projects in fact are going on.
It's really good to know that, because well, you know way better than I that it's not easy to get things built, to take them off the paper, especially nowadays. So it's really good to know. Just out of curiosity, how many collaborators do you have in the office? How many people are there?
Normally 4 with me, including myself. But depends. It's a very, very small office located in up to north of Portugal, which is, just a dumb comparison. In our main city is 200,000 people. So it's a very small cities. And we don't have a lot of projects or audience or markets, okay? And 9 years in the market is nothing to have volume to make a larger team. So mainly at the office we are 4. Today we are 3. So 3-4 people are the normal.
Okay. It's a small practice with big ideas.
Yeah. But it's nice. It's nice. Just a random idea. In the very beginning of when I finished my studies, as I guess all students dreamed about have larger teams and built a lot. And probably because I'm getting older, I'm more interested in small teams, very, very, very close to the clients, to the construction builds and construction site, and enjoy each moment. We design something, some detail, and then we print and we go directly to the building site to discuss with the constructors, the firm, and to learn a little bit more. So yeah, nowadays I'm interested in something very close relations and fast communication. So yeah, it is what it is, and by now I'm good with that.
Good, nice. It looks like when you work in small teams, each of the members have more holistic vision of the whole process. Yeah, possibly it's not so, the hierarchy is not that rigid. Yeah. There's more fluctuations. It seems like a more interesting environment to learn.
Exactly. It's in the end, it's a family. Normally, I said it at my collaborators to the office. Well, each day we really want to be at the office. We wake up and we really want to go to our office. It's kind of a second family, and it's enjoyable, and it's nice. It's good to go there and discuss about architecture.
Nice. To wrap up, can you give us some hints about what you're talking about in the Porto Academy this year?
Yeah, I haven't actually closed the topic yet, but it will focus on the subject of the ordinary, a subject that should pay attention to everyday life, the routines, and understand where architecture can play a role. Actually, I don't expect to propose anything too heavy. The students should have time to enjoy the week. And for me, at least, it's important to understand the students, it's participating in an experience in the end. And so, therefore, I hope to get them thinking and above all, intrigue them. That's my main purpose. I'm trying to define generically the workshop model and then discuss with the assistants in order to make a kind of a week plan. We don't have it already. It will happen in the next few weeks. So I hope there will be a practical result on the spaces of the faculty, since a Cesar Vieira faculty hosts the Porto Academy, which is the very first experience, I guess, for who the students came to.
With the building itself.
Exactly, I guess so. So I expect a practical result on the space of the faculty, as I said before, a kind of using the faculty as a kind of case study. So I don't have very well defined the topic, but will be around the word ordinary. Is something that I'm very interested in the last few years, and I'm interested to research about it. So the Porto Academy will be the place to share my humble knowledge, and also to share with the students how they understand the everyday life and how architecture can be inside of everyday life. So we'll be around that topic.
Amazing. This is a very intriguing subject to explore.
Hopefully.
Move away from the biggest highlights and focus on the ordinary things in life. I found it really intriguing. So we are unfortunately running out of time here. Yeah. So if you want to add something, otherwise I will jump to the conclusion, wrapping up this conversation.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. So to the audience, thanks for being with us in this very pleasant conversation tonight. Now it's already night here in São Paulo as well. So Porto Academy is open to all the students as well, professionals worldwide, and it will happen this year from the 20th to the 27th July at the Faculty of Architecture in Porto, designed and built by Cesar Vieira. Amazing building. Other guests in this edition are Diogo Aguiar Studio, Salottobuono, Clancy Moore, David Kohn, Raphael, Kadid, DFDC, Mao Architects, Bêka, Lemoine, Walder, Nickisch, WOJR Experience, and Léonard Kadid. Amazing guests for us to interview, but also especially for people to learn from during that week of July. The next Instagram live of this talk club will happen tomorrow with Matteo Guidoni from Salottobuono, and I will have the pleasure to interview him again. For the first time, I'm going to interview him for the first time, but I'll be again tomorrow with you guys for another pleasant conversation. So thanks again, José. It was
a
pleasure.
For myself also. Thank you, and hopefully let's meet somewhere in the near future. Okay.
Yes, hopefully. And if you come to Brazil, please let me know. It will be a pleasure to show São Paulo to you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye. See you.
See you.